It's a beautiful morning in Oxfordshire's Lower Windrush Valley, just outside Witney, as wildlife gives its own chorus of approval for the new Rushy Common Nature Reserve. Now local people too can share in the enjoyment of a facility that marks a step change in the approach to restoration of gravel workings along this picturesque valley. While water is still very much a feature of the restored landscape, Rushy Common is part of a new generation of sites made up of more diverse, man-made but nature-rich habitats.
This is a very good example of an excellent restoration scheme for wildlife, and the reason it's so good is the variety of wildlife habitats that's been created in the scheme. An awful lot of thought and care has gone into the design. And what we have here is a lake which has got fantastic margins with a good variety, regular margins with a good variety of shallow areas with islands and spits and a whole diversity of ranges around the shoreline. These include areas of gravel, beaches and gravel islands, but there's also other islands as well. There's muddy areas which attract a lot of lapwings in the winter time. And throughout the year this will be a haven for birds and a fantastic place to come.
The Rushy Common Nature Reserve is part of an evolving story that goes back over 20 years to the opening of Gill Mill Quarry by local family-owned operator Smith & Sons, Bletchington. Gill Mill supports around 40 rural jobs and supplies not just sand and gravel, but sustainable recycled aggregates made from local demolition waste. While delivering the essential building materials that we all need, Smith's has also applied itself to achieving high standards of restoration. Helping to make that possible has been a style of working that allows extraction and restoration to run hand in hand. It means that the area actually being quarried at any time is minimised and restoration is quickly achieved. These shots were all taken on one day and in one small area. Soil has been stripped and stored in stockpiles. Underlying soil, or overburden as it's known, is now being removed, with archaeologists close at hand to mark and record potential for further investigation. Meanwhile, close by, sand and gravel is being extracted, and previously worked ground is being not just restored, but carefully contoured to a detailed plan. In the case of Rushy Common, the land was worked and substantially restored in just 4 years. As part of its overall commitment, Smith's has devoted time, effort and funding to the Lower Windrush Valley project, whose mission is to capitalise on the new opportunities for biodiversity and wider public access created by mineral working. In earlier stages, restoration of Gill Mill's various phases has included creation of quiet lakes, one of which won a national award and another dedicated for use by the residents of Hardwick Village. The opening of the Rushy Common Nature Reserve marks another landmark in the overall process. Alongside it is Tar Lakes, where even greater emphasis is being placed on public access and on circular walks that are accessible by people with disabilities. This in turn links into the wider footpath network and is a major gain for the wider Windrush path along the river. While Rushy Common itself is still maturing, wildlife surveys by the national freshwater experts Pond Conservation show that it is already one of the most biodiverse lakes in the valley. It is of especially high value for macroinvertebrates, including 6 nationally scarce species of water beetle. In the future, Smith's approach to restoration at Gill Mill is likely to involve not just lakes and ponds, but also extensive reed beds, wet woodland and lowland meadows, which have been identified as priority habitats for nature conservation in Oxfordshire. The company is also aiming to further extend public access so that local people can share the potential that has been created by turning intensively farmed land into an ecologically rich wildlife environment.